Hey, this is Tyler with TJack Survival. It is super wet, like dripping wet in the middle of the snow. So we're gonna do some fire starting videos, so stay tuned. So when it comes to lighting a fire with flint and steel, you need something like char cloth. This is my little char cloth canister. Char cloth, I have a couple of videos on my channel on how to make it. All it is a natural plant material that's been cooked inside of something that doesn't allow oxygen to get to it, so it's char. All right, so before the birds drop more snow on me here, get a piece of my char cloth out. Now when it comes to char cloth, you want to prepare a nest beforehand, because you're not going to get a flame from the char cloth, you're going to get a coal, and that coal then needs to be turned into a flame by using your nest. So I'm going to try to use the least amount of this as possible, because I haven't got very much of it. Probably going to need more than that. This is a total wet mess over here. But I'm going to grind that up real good. Put it in this other stuff, and that'll hold it until it's time to make my fire. Okay. Now with this, whenever you have the opportunity to gather kindling, gather it, because you're going to need it in the future. I have this little waterproof bag I got from Blade HQ, and this is just the same stuff as that, only this is dry, because I dried it out before I put it in my bag. The way you dry it is to keep it against your body while you're hiking in a wool jacket or some other type of thing. I don't know if I have any more in there. Anyway, your body heat will dry it out to a certain extent. Much better than it's going to be sopping wet off the tree, but not as good as if you're smart enough to, every time you have a fire, you dry your kindling out with that fire and then put it in a dry bag. So think ahead when it comes to the real primitive type of fire starters. Now, already got snow on my char cloth. The way you want to start flint and steel, which is not to be confused with ferrocerium and steel, because this is actual steel and a piece of quartz or flint, is this. Now ferro rod or ferrocerium is a man-made high magnesium content steel that is not naturally found in nature. This is just high carbon steel that's pressurized. It's a high Rockwell steel. On a quick note, that's a Emberlit Light My Fire, I think it's called, or Strike My Fire device. This is the Wolf one, and it's just a cool little design on the old school flint and steel. So what we do is we fold it over on top of the rock. I put it at an angle that I can get a lot of arc in my wrist and start going until I can get a spark. As a side note, if you have a knife, you can use your knife, the back of your knife, to do this as well, but it's going to chew up the back of your knife. Know that you can do it for a survival situation, but be smart enough to bring a striker so you don't chew your knife up when you do this. And it's going to take a minute. Try this at a different angle. And I might even need some more char cloth, because my char cloth, I think it got wet. Yep, it got wet because I can see it hitting it and not working. No big deal. Grab some more char cloth. Make this happen. There we go. Okay, all I needed to do is get one of those little sparks to catch. Now, I've got myself an ember, and since it is, you can see my breath, it is so incredibly humid here, I'm gonna grab even another piece of this. If I hurry before I catch my hand on fire here. Stick that down in there. Give it a lot of char cloth. Like I said earlier, the humidity level is just through the roof. It's been snowing on us like crazy all day long. So basically what's happening now is that char cloth is going to expand the heat around it, and it's going to dry out the material and then transfer that into the nest until I can ignite it. So I'm going to give it just a little bit more oxygen. And I can blow on this with my lungs, but my hands are just about enough air that's appropriate. So I'm going to speed it up the process here and see if I can get flame. I'm blowing really soft, okay? You blow to the level of the smoke. If there's a little smoke, you blow a little. If there's a lot of smoke, you blow harder until it bursts into flames. And if you start to get to the point where it's about ready to go out, which this is not, but just to illustrate the point, you can always grab a little more char cloth and add it to the mix. I'll just use both of those pieces, they're not coming apart anyway. That is how you start a fire with flint and steel. If this has been valuable to you, please hit my subscribe button, and thank you for watching TJack Survival.